me also welcome on board Rajesh Palvia as well. And Rajesh, firstly, let's have a chart check by you on JSW Steel, because indeed positive news flow on this particular counter as Supreme Court agrees to hear JSW Steel's plea in the Bhushan Power case, and this development does come as a relief for the company. We have seen a bit of a surge just in yesterday's trading session along with the other metal counters shining bright. But how are you looking at the charts, and any particular levels to highlight? Good morning.
Good morning, Srishti. Good morning, everyone. So looking at the overall structure for JSW Steel, it's in bullish trajectory only. Series of higher top, higher bottom formation is taking place in this counter, which indicates that, there is a sustained buying action is taking place in this counter. Now stock is negotiating with its multiple supply zone area on the weekly as well as on the daily chart. But overall charts are suggesting that there is a strength, and any breakout above 1060 level can take this stock further higher towards 1100, 1120 zone in short to medium term perspective. So I think one can buy and accumulate this counter. On the breakout of 1060, we could see a sharp up move towards 1100. So I think one can buy and accumulate with stop loss of 1000, and view is positive for JSW Steel at this juncture.
Okay, interesting. A lot of other stocks that, one is monitoring, while of course day before it was all about Kotak, there was IndusInd Bank as well. While IndusInd Bank of course recovered ground all of yesterday, Reliance held out finally 2%, L&T shot up 2% ahead of its numbers, and Jio Finance as well looked good by about a 4.5% or so move. Mazgaon of course was quite a casualty after its numbers, even though that stock also recovered in the latter part of yesterday's trading session, and Paytm saw some unwinding as well. It was down about 1.7% after that massive move post its earnings. Anshul, I'm curious to know, so far in the earnings, have you recommended adding any positions, looking at any earnings?
Aisha, firstly, I invest for my own account, my family's investments. I wouldn't recommend stocks to anyone, but by and large, I think that the banking and finance space, that space looks quite interesting on account of valuations being quite reasonable. And the earnings trajectory starting to expand going forward. Of course, there is that odd stock, odd bank where you are seeing weakness in earnings, but it does look like the sector as a whole is poised for the next 2 years to have greater risk, favorable risk reward from here. So upsides being higher than downsides given where we stand today. Particularly in the NBFC space, it does look like there is tailwinds in demand. There is also regulatory clarity, which was missing for the better part of the last 3-4 years. And it is quite clear that the regulator wants liquidity to open up for that space, because it is really the last mile of credit reaching the economy. So the NBFC space, housing finance, that looks interesting at this time. Aside from that, there was a trend post GST implementation where we saw the move from unorganized to organized, both on the retail side as also on the manufacturing side. But that trend actually missed the distribution part of the value chain. What we are seeing today is that distributors are getting consolidated, and the small unorganized distributor, whether it is in building materials or metals or pharma, is actually going out of business or actually losing market share. And the more organized distributor in all of these segments is gaining share. So that is one space where we find tremendous tailwinds on growth. And it is a space which is really not understood by the market so much. Then the odd capital goods company, the auto components company, all of those offer opportunity at this time. So opportunities galore, but those are more stock specific, segment specific, rather than market wide.
Right. In the mid cap universe, that's looking good to trade.
So I said two stocks idea where we are focusing at this juncture. One is PI Industry from the chemical basket, very strong buying action in the previous day, and looking at the weekly as well as daily chart, now stock is negotiating with its previous swing high kind of level. So I think PI industry can continue further more upside, and possible upside towards 43.20, 43.50 we may see for the counter in the near term perspective. So one can buy PI industry with stop loss of 4200. And another stock is from the pharma space, that is Cipla. After a consolidation of almost 7-8 weeks, there is a strong breakout has been witnessed by the counter on the weekly chart. Long built up was there in the data. So looking at the overall structure for Cipla, we believe that Cipla can extend its gain, and possible upside towards 16-15 we can see in the near term perspective. So Cipla is buy with stop loss of 1555.
Technicals. And Rajesh, want to get your sense on the entire real estate space. Top leading sector yesterday, and good moves coming in on Nifty Realty. Given the kind of negativity we've seen on the charts, do you believe that now is a good time for a run-up, or do you believe there's some more room for consolidation?
So I think if we analyze the Nifty Realty, it's now trading near to its important support area of 915, and 915 is the key support area for Nifty Realty Index. I think if it's able to hold out, I think some pullback action we can see in the most of the real estate stock. If we analyze all the real estate counter, most of the stocks have witnessed a supply pressure and now trading in the oversold trajectory on the near term perspective. So yes, there could be some pullback action we could see in the counter, like DLF. It's trading near to its important support area of 790, and I think if it's able to hold this level, some pullback we may see in this counter towards 825 to 830. Even if we look at the Lodha also, stock has broken its 200-day moving average, and in the previous day there was a strong pullback action from the lower level around to 1200. Stock has formed a base, and I think if it's able to defend a 1210 level in next couple of days, there could be a possibility of pullback from oversold trajectory towards 1280 or 1300 kind of zone. So I think one can focus real estate space just for some pullback action, because still most of the stocks are trading below to their important moving averages. So I think 3 to 4% kind of recovery would change their structure for the near term to short term. But I think yes, for pullback, one can buy with a strict stop loss of the previous day low for DLF, Lodha, even Godrej Property.
Right. Okay. We'll chat